Hi everyone, my name is Lacey and today I will be leading a prenatal yoga class for the first trimester. So some of the most common symptoms that can happen during the first trimester are nausea and fatigue, and those were definitely some things that I dealt with on a daily basis during the first trimester. So this practice is really going to be focused on those symptoms, and it's just going to be a really grounding yoga practice with some gentle movement, and we'll eventually make our way into some restorative yoga postures. Some things that you might want to have on hand for our practice today, your yoga mat obviously, but also a couple of pillows or a yoga bolster and some towels or blankets can be really nice when we get to the restorative portion of class. So that's what you might want. If you have other props, feel free to use them. If you don't have those props, that's okay too. Just get creative with what you have on hand. And I've linked to a slow grounding yoga playlist in the description. So you can go ahead and start that playlist as soon as I start talking, so right after the intro. And that's about it. All right, we'll get started. So before we start some gentle movement, we're just going to start in an upright seat, and we're going to be here for a few minutes of meditation practice. And that can just be really nice to help ease the mind, because fear and anxiety can also be such a big part of the first trimester. Having a meditation practice can really help to calm some of the anxiousness, the nervous jitters, the restlessness that can be part of the first trimester. So this meditation practice is going to be geared towards that. And during our meditation practice, we'll be taking a mudra. It's called dhyana mudra, or gesture of concentration, of meditation. And it's also the mudra or hand gesture that we say is associated with the sacral chakra. And that's the area, anatomically, that's the area that's right around the sacrum and right below the navel. So it is all of this space where the growing of the baby is happening in the first trimester. So to take this mudra, dhyana mudra, you'll just touch your two thumbs together and you'll stack your fingers one on top of the other. And then you'll just rest this shape just below your navel. And start to settle your shoulders back, lift through the center of your chest and lift up through the crown of your head. And if it feels okay to do so, you can close your eyes now. I'm just starting to turn your gaze inward. And notice how you feel in this moment. Notice what emotions come up. If there is fear, if there is any anxiety, if there is stress, rather than pushing that away, can you just allow yourself to be with whatever feelings are there for a moment? And if it's too much to face them head on at this moment, that's okay. But maybe just acknowledge what is there and maybe name it. Label it by the name of the emotion. And then if you can, in this moment, just let that thought, that emotion go. Maybe bookmark it, maybe make a mental note to yourself that you can come back to it later, but not now. For now, if you can, just start to direct your attention to your breath. Check in with your breath and just notice where the air is moving in your body. Notice how it's moving. Notice the quality of your breathing. You can notice if it's shallow, if it's erratic, if it's choppy. Those are all indications that there might be some fear, that there might be some restlessness. And if it is any of those things, just invite the breath to quiet, to soften, to come lower down towards the hands, to slow. As you breathe now into the space around your hands, filling this space with oxygen, with nourishment. You can feel your belly gently expand as you breathe in. And gently soften as you exhale. Expanding as you breathe in. And softening as you exhale. And as you're feeling the energy of this space and moving that nourishment, that breath downward, start to feel the heat of your hands. Feel where your hands are placed on your body, and imagine now your hands nourishing this space with warmth. And it's like you're incubating that space where baby lives. You can picture a light in your hands. Feel the light, feel the warmth spreading out over your abdomen. Moving up to the chest. Feeling the heart. Moving up through the eyes, through the crown of the head. Over the arms and down the legs. So now your entire body is filled with light. And if any of those images, that visualization doesn't work for you, doesn't resonate, that's okay. But whatever does resonate, whatever sticks with you, let it stay. Now, from where you are, whether you're at home or a shared space, we'll just take a few collective breaths together. As you breathe in, let the abdomen fill with air. And as you exhale, let the air out your lips. Breathe in, fill up. Exhale, let it out. Good. One more time, breathe in. Exhale. Blink your eyes open. And you can release your mudra. And from here, we'll just start to make some circles with the upper body. We call these Sufi circles in yoga. And you can think about starting small with these circles. Just moving the torso around. You might close your eyes here. You can feel your pelvis, base of the pelvis rooted firmly down onto your seat. As you feel the mobility of the upper body. And if it feels good to do so, you could get your shoulders a little bit involved. Maybe the neck moves a little. You're starting to loosen up. And then change your circle the opposite direction. Making the circles on the second side as big or small, as tight or as free as feels okay for your body right now. Notice any tension that might be held in the jaw and the neck and the shoulders. This is a common hiding spot for stress. And see if you can invite some of that stress to melt away. Good, come back through center. Coming back to an upright spine. If you need to, for a little more comfort or ease, you can change the cross of your legs if you're seated with the legs crossed. And then reach your arms up to the ceiling. Good, take Dhyana Mudra through you. So that same gesture, creating that same circular sphere, that circle with the hands. And reach the arms back up. Exhale, take Jada Mudra through you. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, arms move through. Twice more like that. Good, reach your arms up once again. And as you exhale, take a gentle side bend towards the right. So you can curl your right fingertips out, reach your left fingertips overhead. Maybe take your gaze underneath your left, yeah, that's your left. I'm mirroring you, so getting my directions confused. Maybe take your gaze underneath your left arm. And then notice again any tension in the jaw. Maybe open, close your mouth. Stick your tongue out. Just allowing things to loosen up. Good. Lift back up through center. Reach tall with your fingertips. And then land to the second side. Crawl the left fingertips out. Reach, reach, reach through the right fingertips. Opening through the right side of the heart. Maybe gazing underneath the right armpit. And then lift yourself back up through center. And then come down to hands and knees, moving to all fours now. So if you want, for extra comfort, you might slide a blanket underneath your knees. Ground through the tops of your feet, spread through each of your fingers. And then we'll take a similar gesture to those, or a similar movement to the Sufi circles we did seated. You'll just start to barrel roll your chest, your abdomen around. Loosening up through the spine, the heart, and the shoulders. And it's okay if these aren't perfect circles. It's okay if they don't look symmetrical or even. It's not really about the look of the shapes you're making. It's about how they feel in your body. Just notice if you can start to work into any tight, stuck areas. Good, and then change direction of your circle. Just undulating around. Okay, come back through center. Extend your right leg out behind you. And as you lengthen that right leg out behind you, you'll just start to rock your weight a little forward and back. Forward and back. You might start to feel a nice stretch through the calf. And we won't be doing any inversions. We won't even be doing downward facing dog in this practice. That's not to say you can't do inversions or you can't do a fiery practice when you're in the first trimester, but it's just that you might not want to. So during the first trimester, it's really important to listen to what your body needs. And if your body feels tired, it's okay, you can give some rest. Okay, so kickstand your left shin out, drop your right heel down to the mat, and then reach your right fingertips up to the ceiling. So we're coming into a modified side plank here. Feel your right fingertips open, fanning out. Feel the left hand grounding down firmly. Feel the collarbones open wide. Good, take a breath in here. And then as you exhale, take your right fingertips underneath your left ribs. We'll just pulse that a few times. Inhale, reach the arm up. Exhale, draw the fingertips under. Reach up as you breathe in. And draw the fingers under. Last time, reach up, lengthening, lengthening. Exhale, fingers come underneath you. Good, reach back up. And then sweep the arm overhead, all the way down to the mat. You can return to all fours. And then extend your left leg back behind you, straightening out the leg. And start to rock your weight forward and back, forward and back. Again, just noticing any sensation through the back of the calf muscle. Breathing down your body, down into the legs, down into the feet. And finding some sensation of rest even here. Can you soften your jaw, soften the muscles in your face? Good. Kickstand your right shin. Step the left heel down to the mat and reach your left fingertips up to the ceiling, coming into your modified side plank to the second side. And just pause here once you come into the shape, feeling the expression of this shape in your body. Spread through your fingers. Breathe in here. And then as you exhale, take the left fingertips underneath you. Breathe in, reach up. Exhale, thread the arm down. Breathe in, lengthening, lengthening. Exhale, fingers come down. Last one like this, breathe in, lengthen up. Exhale. Inhale, lengthen, reach up. Exhale, draw the arm over your ear. And then all the way down to the mat, returning to tabletop. Good. Lengthen your right leg out behind you once again and rock your weight forward, back, forward, back. And then kickstand your right shin once again. Come back into that modified side plank to your first side. So the right fingertips reach up. This time, draw your right arm over your ear and stay here for a moment or two. Keep pressing down through the left heel, reaching through the right heel and reaching through the right fingertips. Good. And then you might stay here, or you might start to float your right foot off of the mat. You might stay here, or you might bend the knee, catch the top of the foot, and draw the foot towards your body. So getting a nice stretch for the quadriceps. As you're doing this, think about drawing your ribs inward. So think ribs down to your pubic bone, rather than splaying the ribs out in front of you, which can sometimes be the tendency here. Tightly. Just a couple more breaths. Oh, Okay, release the leg. Release the arm back down to the mat. Come back to all fours. Oh my goodness. Okay. Lengthen the left leg back behind you. Rock your weight forward, back, forward, back. Kickstand the shin. Press your left heel down. Reach your left fingertips up. Coming back to that modified side plank. And then right away, draw your left arm over your left ear. And notice that sense of extension through the entire left side body. You don't want to force anything here, so you only want to go to a depth that feels comfortable, that feels interesting to explore. Never want pain in yoga. Good. Either stay here or lift your left foot up. Maybe bend the left knee. Catch the top of the foot, draw the foot towards your bum, and breathe into the top of your thigh. And again, if you notice your ribs are flaring out in front of you, just think of gently drawing them in. And release. Settle the hand down, foot down, both knees down. And now start to circle your hips in your tabletop, making a wide O shape. Breathing down the body. Circle the other way. Good. Come through center. You'll extend your left leg back behind you once again, as if you're going to come back into that modified side plank. But instead of doing that, we're going to come into a pigeon pose. So keep the left foot grounded, toes grounded on the mat. And then you'll just slide the right shin forward. You can settle now the top of the left foot all the way down to the mat, so all 10 of your toes ground. And if this pigeon pose does not work for your body, I'll show you a variation. But first I'll just show you how to come into this shape. I'll kind of show you the alignment for the shape, and if it doesn't work for your body, then I'll show you that other variation. So you can keep the blanket underneath you, but another option is to roll the blanket up. So creating this nice roll of the blanket. Doesn't have to be a perfect roll, but just something to slide underneath your bum, especially if your bum is lifted up, which in most bodies it will be. And then you want your right knee to be a little bit wider out than your right hip. So the knee is to the right side of the hip. Your hips are directed forward to the front of the mat, chest squared off to the front of the mat. And then you can stay upright here. So staying upright, it's kind of a nice heart opener. But what can be really nice and restful is instead to fold forward. And if you fold forward and you feel like it's uncomfortable, or like your forehead doesn't easily touch the mat, you can take some blocks or a bolster, cushion, a few blankets underneath you, and fold forward that way. So in non-pregnant bodies, I would probably be showing this with a bolster vertical, but to make space for your growing baby, you can instead just take this bolster forward and settle the forearms down to the bolster, and then allow the top of the head to settle down. Now, pigeon pose is not for everybody, so if this pose feels like it's causing a lot of pain or discomfort in the knee, in the hip, and ankle, in any of those places, then instead you can come all the way down to the right hip and then create kind of more or less a 90-degree angle with the right thigh and the right shin. So still getting a stretch for the right hip with this shape that we're going to take, which was called in the yin world deer pose. Hello, Blue. Yes, this is a new shirt. I know you smell that. So then you'll just fold to any degree that feels comfortable. Hello, Blue. Yes. Over your right shin. Maybe taking a bolster, probably not on top of it, but just in front of the shin. And if you fold forward, this deer pose can be a lot deeper of a stretch for the right outer hip. At least I think so in my body. So if you fold forward and find that you're not coming all the way down to the bolster, you can stack some blankets, blocks. So that's the second variation that you can take. So we'll just be in whichever variation you're in for just a couple more moments. And whichever variation you're in, notice if you can invite some breath down into the hands. Good. And slowly start to lift yourself back upright. Tuck your left toes back underneath you and slide the right knee back. Maybe taking that blanket underneath the knees once again. And then you can either circle your hips around, or you can do kind of a fire hydrant action with the right leg, drawing some circles around, going both directions. Good. Come back through center. Extend your right leg back behind you, as if you're going to come back into that modified side plank, and then slide the left leg forward from here. Take your blanket, if you have it, create a little roll, slide it underneath the left outer hip, just to make your hips a little more even. And it may be one blanket, it may be two, it may be a whole bolster, a whole pillow, whatever works here for your body to create a level foundation for your hips. This could look different side to side as well. And then your second prop again can come forward of you. Enough space for baby to grow as you settle yourself down. And again, if that doesn't work in your body, you can instead come to deer on the second side. And again, the two sides of your body can be very different. So pigeon may be great for one side, deer may be better for the other. Just listen to what your body needs. So if you're taking deer, you'll take that 90-degree angle with the front shin, with the front thigh. Back knee points out at an angle. Doesn't have to be perfect. And then you settle yourself down. Now, I didn't mention this on the first side, but you can be directly over the shin. That's a little more intense of a variation. You can also be out to the side as well. That is lovely, I think. It's a lot less intense to be out to the side. It's just kind of a gentle opening for the left outer hip. But take whichever variation, again, works for your body. And let yourself settle into it. So just start to slowly lift yourself back upright. Release the props out from underneath you. Come back to all fours. Maybe sliding that blanket underneath your knees. And either circle the hips around both at once, or take a few circles with just your left leg alone. Creating that fire hydrant action. And circle both ways. Good. And then the next shape we'll take a restorative shape. And we'll be using either a bolster or a long pillow, settling that underneath the side body. So that kind of, this action that we did in our modified side plank, we're kind of going to be replicating that in this shape, but in a much gentler, slower, restful way. So with this bolster coming along and down your mat, you'll be lying on top of that. And you'll take your left hip down to the bolster to start, and then just lie the side body down. So if you have extra props nearby, something nice to do for the legs is to fold up a blanket or take a pillow in between the thighs. This can be really nice for sleep too, to have this pillow in between the thighs or blanket in between the thighs, because that creates a little bit of a more stability in the hips. Stability in the hips is something you often think about while you're sleeping, but when you wake up, you may notice a difference. So again, pillow underneath you, bolster or a pillow or a blanket in between your inner thighs. And it's just a matter of lying down here. If you have more props, you could also take another blanket, bolster, or not bolster, blanket or towel on top of this bottom arm. And that's really nice just to take a little bit of a pillow here, resting the left ear down onto it. A couple of options for the arms here. Your bottom arm can be extended. It's probably the variation most of you will be taking. And your top arm hand can come down to, wherever is restful, the ground, the pillow, or for a little deeper of a side stretch, you can reach the top arm up and overhead and maybe clasp your fingers together. And that just creates a little more opening for the right side body. I'm going to take your variation, maybe playing with one or both of those arm variations. And let yourself start to settle in here. Notice what you feel in your body once again. Notice any fatigue. Notice any lack of energy, any tiredness there may be, rather than if you are tired and if you are, moving through your day slowly, just know that that's okay. Give yourself grace. In the first trimester, in addition to growing a new life, we are growing an entire organ, growing the placenta. So a lot in the body is happening. So it's okay to relax. Relax everything you can as your body continues to work. Know that just being here is enough. Notice your breath. Breathe down the bottom. And let yourself soften and settle. Just slowly start to ease your way out of this first sigh. If you had a pillow or a blanket on top of your arm, you can set it down and use as little abdominal engagement as possible. So press through the strength of your arms. So lift yourself onto hands and knees. And then take any little movement here that your body craves. So might be swishing the hips a little or circling the chest, abdomen once again. Noticing how the two sides of your bodies feel. And when you're ready to set up for your second side, you'll take your right hip down to the side of your bolster or pillow. Or it might be a few pillows stacked one on top of the other. You'll set the blanket in between your thighs. Take your right arm down. Set your towel or blanket or pillow on top of the arm and settle your right ear down. And then maybe you're interlocking the fingers together and reaching overhead, or maybe you're just softening the right hand to your pillow or bolster. Notice how the second side feels. And let yourself be. And start to slowly ease your way out of the second side. Grounding through the hands. Coming back to all fours. Maybe you move a little, or maybe you just stay still for a moment and notice any sensation. The final shape we set up for, and this will be our Shavasana or our final rest. So this final shape is called Mountain Brook, and we will be lying on our backs, which is okay for the first trimester. As you get deeper into the pregnancy, you'll want to avoid being on your back, but in the first trimester, it's generally no problem. So you'll be lying on your back in a heart opener, so you'll be opening the space across your chest, which can tend to get a little clogged, a little stuck, a little stagnant during pregnancy as the body changes and shifts and the distribution of weight shifts. Not so much in the first trimester, but you may already be feeling in the first trimester, again, that sense of fatigue, which can drag us forward, which can close off the heart. So this is just to kind of get some of that nice opening, and it's a nice practice that you can take going forward into your pregnancy. Again, until the second trimester, because you'll want to start avoiding lying on your back as you get deeper into pregnancy. But this kind of action will be really nice to cultivate. So you'll take it by rolling up a blanket or a towel, creating this nice little roll, and then that's going to come underneath the back of your chest, back of your heart. You'll take a second blanket or towel, and this will go underneath the back of your head. So it's just going to be folded up. And you'll just want a little roll in that towel to support the back of your neck, so supporting the cervical spine here. And then you'll take either a third blanket or bolster, big pillow underneath the backs of the knees. This can be a bigger roll here. And then one more blanket or towel if you have it. This will go underneath the ankles. So this is just going to be a skinny little roll. The size of the rolls does not have to be perfect, but it's just something that's going to support the body. And one more nice thing to add here, if you have it, is an eye pillow to go over the eyes. This can be really nice. And so you'll come to lie down here. Just gently working your way down. And actually, I should even show how you lie down. So you'll come to lie down by grounding onto one hip and then settling yourself down. Just positioning the bolster that comes underneath your heart so that it's right about underneath the armpit to start. Positioning the other one underneath your head. And then once you're on your side here, you can then roll onto your back. And that just avoids using the abs, which you don't want to ignore the abs altogether during pregnancy, but you also don't want to place too much stress on the abs. So it's just nice to kind of come down in a way that feels soft, that feels supportive. So again, blankets underneath the ankles, underneath the knees, underneath the back of the heart. And it may take a minute or two to really get the exact shape that you want. So play around for a minute until you find the right position, one that feels grounding. And then once you're in that position, you can take your eye pillow over your eyes. Your choice for the arms. They can come overhead, maybe into an I surrender position, a goalpost shape, or they can come down alongside your body. But you just want to feel that the tops of the shoulders are just over the bolster that's underneath your heart. So you're getting a nice opening across the chest. And just start to let yourself settle here. If you're holding any engagement in the legs, or even if you can't feel any engagement in the legs, one thing that's nice to do is just kind of shake out the legs a little. And then soften them down. Maybe you do that with the arms. Maybe you shake out the hands a little. And then settle them down. And then breathe into your belly. And let the breath out your lips. Breathe into your belly. And let it out your lips. And we'll rest here in our Shavasana. And just start to invite some movement back to the body. You can run your thumb across your finger pads, noticing sensation. And you might take a yawn of your arms up and overhead as you stretch your toes forward, just lengthening out the whole body. And come up with as much ease as possible, rocking onto one side. Lifting yourself upright. As you come up to a seat, you can just reach your arms overhead, breathing in. Exhale, draw Dhyana Mudra through you. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, Dhyana Mudra. Last time, reach up. Exhale, take Dhyana Mudra just below the navel. And settle here. Lift through the heart. Ground down through the base of your pelvis. And through the crown of your head as well. And wherever your hands are, you can imagine a little seed there. Take your breath down to the abdomen, breathing in, filling. Exhale out your lips. One more time, breathe in, fill in. Exhale, let it go. Draw your palms back together at the center of your heart now. And bow your chin down to your chest. Bowing to the little teachers within. All right, thank you so much for joining me for our practice today. I hope you found that to be useful. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to reach out. And requests for future classes, please let me know. Otherwise, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.